Okay, today you're going to get the truth about what it really takes to make $1 million as a copywriter. So sometimes I get questions from subscribers and followers, and I want to answer them, but I know that the answer that I'm giving is not the answer that they're looking for. And today's going to be one of those days. So let's check out the question that I got today. It said, "Hey Roy, I'm overwhelmed and confused by copywriting courses. Does your website offer a clear roadmap for leaning and getting clients for a 7-figure business? H." And note, I put the little sick in there, which is saying that I left the typo in. And man, I mean, I really appreciate Daniel Throssell does this thing where he just really leans into people who have this kind of mistakes when they submit questions to him or send communication to him. Because if you want to be successful as a copywriter, you cannot make stupid mistakes in your writing. And well, the first thing that I would say is make sure that you are proofreading what you write. Make sure that you read what you write over again and that it says what you actually need it to say and that it doesn't have wrong words in it or obvious typos, because in this is somebody who wrote 2 sentences to me and they had one significant typo that completely changed the word that was being written. You're going to struggle to make it as a copywriter, whether you are selling your own stuff or whether you are, working with clients, if you don't have basic command of the language. Now, you don't have to write fancy, none of that is important, but you can't have obvious grammatical errors in any kind of significant volume in your writing. Now, I make mistakes. I make mistakes all the time. Most of them I catch and fix. Some of them I don't. And yet, when you look at my mistakes as a percentage of my writing, we're talking like, 1 or 2% maximum. Not even that. Like, I'll write 10,000 words and there will be maybe 1 or 2 typos in it, right? And that's the kind of that's what you need to be going for, or 0, right? 0 is better. Obviously, I'm going for 0 every time, but sometimes they slip through. Anyways, back to the question, right? Back to this question of 7-figure copywriting, wants a 7-figure, and heck, there should be a hyphen or a dash between 7 and figure there, right? Yes. So, number 1, clean up your writing and make sure that it's not distractingly full of errors. All right, so I decided to come up with, not just one clear roadmap for a 7-figure business, but I decided to come up with 5 for you. And let's just hit them all real quick. So here's a 7-step 7-figure copywriting roadmap. Okay, find a market full of hungry buyers. Find a market full of hungry buyers. Step 2, figure out what that market wants. Okay, so full of people who want to spend money, figure out what they want to spend money on. Okay. Step 3, find or create an offer to fulfill that desire. So find out something that's going to fulfill that desire. Step 4, find the message that compels them to buy. So may have to do a little bit of experimentation there, but you're going to figure out what message compels that market to buy that thing, that offer. Okay. Let's see, we're on step 5 now. Package that message in media. Okay, so we went from having a message that could be something that you figured out via one-on-one conversations, via one-on-one selling, into something that you package up in media. So it could be a webinar, it could be a sales letter, it could be, who knows, right? Video sales letter, but package that message in media. Step 6, make sure your selling system is profitable. So you launch that media and you figure out, can I spend $1 to get at least $1 back in terms of revenue generated? And there are lots of things that you can do For example, putting upsells in your funnels in order to increase the profitability of your selling process, or finding ways to sell to a customer after they've made their first purchase, or add-on sales to the initial transaction. Lots of things you can do to make it more profitable. But you got to make sure that your selling system is profitable, and then you scale it until you hit 7 figures. I'm sorry if you wanted something more like, go into this market, go create this specific product for this market, go say this thing to that person, right? But that's not reality. Like, I can't give that to you in a YouTube video. But this process is exactly what many direct response marketers do. People who are copywriter entrepreneurs, people who choose to be offer owners versus copywriters. This is exactly what most of them do to achieve 7 figures in revenue, because this is a proven process. Okay, I recognize you're probably sitting here like, if you're the type of person that asks that question, you're sitting here like, how do I put what message is going to compel them to buy? I'm sorry, that's for you to figure out, right? Like, there are ways that you can get closer to that, but ultimately you have to do the homework. You have to figure it out. All right, so if 7 steps is too many, let's do a 5-step 7-figure copywriting roadmap. Okay, step number 1, learn as much as you can. These videos are a great start. I have lots of courses that are ridiculously cheap for the profit potential that is possible from what it takes to get access to, or from actually applying the content that I give you. Okay. But you don't have to learn from me. You can go buy books. You can go study free stuff on the internet. There's just an abundance of valuable information out there about how to create response, how to create sales from your marketing, your copywriting, your advertising. So learn as much as you can. That was step 1. Step 2 is experiment a lot. Experiment a lot, because even when you learn something from a book, like I happen to, on top of the stack of books in my office here, I happen to have tested advertising methods at the top, right? Full of great information about what worked for specific markets, specific offers at a specific moment in time, along with an analysis of the principles that may apply, right? But ultimately, you take that book learning and you cannot directly translate it and say, if I copy this headline from John Caples, it's going to work today. You have to figure out what is going to work today. So you have to experiment a lot, and what's going to work with my market, what's going to work in my voice, etc. So you experiment a lot. You learn what works for you in this market, in this moment, in this media choice, all of that, right? Learn what works for you and what doesn't. And stop doing what doesn't work and do more of what does work. And I suppose step 6 to this is scale until you hit 7 figures. Okay, so this is a 7-figure copywriting roadmap. You want to make 7 figures as a copywriter, do that. Go through that process. All right, is 5 steps too many? Let's try 3. 3-step 7-figure copywriting roadmap. This one I have to give all the credit in the world to John Carlton. Excellent copywriter. I've been very successful. One of my early influences that I learned a lot from, and it's fun to read John Carlton's copy. John Carlton's 3 steps to success as a copywriter is step 1, get good. You got to figure out how to get really good at copywriting. And many of the things that I've already said in this episode apply. Step 1, get good. Get good. Step 2, get connected. Find the marketers who are actually able to scale an offer, who are able to spend a lot of money on media, and that can take successful copy and really scale it up. Get connected to those people and start doing work for them. Early on, you just do anything to get in the door in an industry, in a market with particular clients. But as you grow and they recognize that you are good, that you are able to contribute value, well, then you contribute value and they're going to pay you more and more, and you get paid. So step 1, get good. Step 2, get connected. Step 3 is get paid. And honestly, like, if you're going to break down what most really successful freelance copywriters have done, folks who've made 7 figures and more, well, this is what they do. They get really good at copywriting. They get connected to great clients who are able to take a piece of good copy and make as much profit as possible from that copy. And they get paid well because those clients recognize that the vast majority of the people are going to stop at asking the question of, oh, how do I make a bunch of money as a copywriter? But when they're told that they have to do a bunch of work, they do not go any farther. And so, like, I'm sorry to be so blunt about this, but most copywriters who do not succeed do it because, well, they realize that it's hard and they give up. But if you realize that it's hard and you keep going, well, then you're far more likely to end up hitting that 7-figure mark that you desire. All right, 3 steps. 3 steps is way too many, Roy. Can we make it any simpler? Okay, 2-step 7-figure copywriting roadmap. Find out what clients will pay $5,000 for and sell and fulfill that 200 times. Do the math. 5,000 times 200 is $1 million. Okay, so whatever you're going to define as this $5,000, this $5,000 project, it has to be something that you can sell and fulfill 200 times. So you might look at that and you might say, okay, if I think of something like a website rewrite project, can I do 200 website rewrite projects in a year? Maybe not. Maybe that's going to be hard to fulfill 200 times. Is there something else that clients will value at $5,000? Or do I have to build a system that is much more scalable beyond just me to hit that $1 million threshold? And then you're looking at things like profit and managing people, etc., right? But if you're going to break it down, and I could have done the math lots of different ways. If you have something that clients are going to pay $10,000 for, you need 100. If you have clients that are going to pay 1,000 for, you need 1,000, right? So you figure out what clients are going to pay whatever amount for and do it as many times as it takes to hit 7 figures. How about another 2-step 7-figure copywriting roadmap? Negotiate a 5% royalty where I get paid 5% of 5 cents for every dollar that I make for you. Okay, cool. For every dollar that I make you, you're going to pay me 5 cents, which means for every $100, I get $5. For every $1 million, I get $50,000. And 1 million times 20 is 20 million, and 50,000 times 20 is 1 million. So if you can make your clients $20 million at a 5% royalty, well, there you go. That's $1 million in revenue for you as a copywriter. And honestly, most copywriters who find the most financial success working with clients actually work with one client on a basis like this. They negotiate a royalty and they make their clients enough money to hit whatever financial threshold that they hit. And so most of their financial success only comes because they did the work of figuring out how to get good at copywriting, how to sell, and how to create conversions in a way that that was scalable for their client. And the client managed all the business side of it. And in the end, the client paid them their royalty, which feels like a small cut, but the client is managing things like product creation, product fulfillment, scale, media buying, they're managing customer service, they're managing all of that stuff. And the copywriter just gets 5% for showing up and writing. And actually, if you take like Gary Bencivenga, and I'm going to rustle some papers on my desk here because I know this is under a couple things. Gary Bencivenga wrote this Doctor's Vest Pocket Sampler of Natural Remedies. And this was in the 90s, and it was in the heyday of direct mail. But it was this project that I understood took about 3 months to write, to create. And he got paid whatever fee he was charging at the time, I think $20,000 for this as an advance against royalties. But he was getting paid 5 cents per piece mailed. And he was doing this for Prevention Magazine, for Rodale. So Rodale Press, very big, successful direct response marketer, direct mail marketer in the 90s. And they had the capability and knowledge in-house that they could scale something like this. And he wrote this and he got paid $20,000 up front for writing this. But Rodale was able to mail it at whatever metrics they needed to hit 100 million times, 100 million pieces mailed, 100 million copies of this little booklet went out, written by Gary Bensavinga. And if he was getting paid 5 cents per piece mailed, well, we're talking about $5 million in royalties for writing this. And so you want to make 7 figures as a copywriter, like that's the way to do it. What you really need to know about 7-figure copywriting. Here's, just breaking down everything that I hope that I've made pretty clear throughout this episode. It's a lazy question. This is somebody who wants success delivered to them on a silver platter and is not willing to do the work. And I'm sorry if this is you, but this is tough love that you need to hear. If you want to hit 7 figures as a copywriter, you need to create the value that justifies you being paid 7 figures. And you're probably not going to do that by doing some like copy and paste or fill in the blank templates copywriting. Right? You're going to have to figure out how to be a really good copywriter, a really good persuader, someone who is able to recognize, okay, this is an offer that I can really run with. And if I put it out there with a good team, like we're going to be able to make 7 figures and a whole lot more. But you can't outsource this basic level of success. You can't. You must do the work. You have to learn the skill. You have to create the value for clients. So you do the work. Do the work. Like that's the ultimate, like one step 7-figure copywriting roadmap is do the work. Learn the skill, create the value, and find a way that you're creating so much value for other people. With a hat tip to Zig Ziglar for this, the best way to get what you want in life is to find a way to help enough other people get what they want in life. I've heard it said, if you want to become a billionaire, solve a $1 problem for 1 billion people. Like these are things, this is the essence of success in business and copywriting, etc. But you have to find your path. You have to find your path to this. And while I can give you training, and I sell training that will help you learn some fundamentals, learn some principles, learn some strategies, give you some templates and techniques and things that you can follow on a more tactical basis. Ultimately, it's about you learning how to apply those things in the right context in your life, in your career, in your business, if you want to achieve this success. Now, if there is one thing that I will say at the end to really like reinforce that, yeah, I know it's a lazy question, but you shouldn't give up. It's that direct response marketing has this really interesting capacity that once you have something that really works and you're able to scale it in media, the speed of results can be insanely quick. You can go from nothing to making $1 million very quickly because of the nature of direct response marketing. Either conversion marketing where you're converting some kind of paid traffic or some kind of abundant traffic source, or if you're working with clients on selling to their own list. If they have a big list, man, results can come in really quick if you do a launch like that. So there is good news that you can actually get rich quick in direct response marketing, but I don't want you to hear that and say, oh, this is like a get rich quick opportunity. The reality is that oftentimes there is years and years of at the very least, months and months and months and months beyond a year of really understanding at least the foundations of this, and then having your special moment where you just hit escape velocity on something, on some offer, on some whatever. And that's what generates a large chunk of change for you, however much that amount ends up being. All right, so my call to action for you, think about this. Think about how you can use this maybe as motivation going forward. I'm recording this towards the end of 2022. How can you use this as motivation going into 2023 for achieving your success and financial goals as a copywriter? Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want more content like this and more content to help you be a better copywriter, marketer, entrepreneur. I do appreciate you for liking the individual episodes and subscribing. You can subscribe here. You can go to breakthroughmarketingsecrets.com to get the episode notifications by email as well. And if you are curious about copywriting royalties, I would strongly recommend my copywriting royalties and pay for performance training. I will include that as the first link in the description. I think that I offer the best royalties training in the business. If you look up copywriting royalties, most of the things on the front page of Google are related to things that I've written. I think that I provide the best, most valuable, most actionable ideas about getting paid royalties, as well as getting paid with other creative pay-for-performance arrangements. And that can be a very, very effective way to partner up with somebody in order to achieve your financial goals as a copywriter faster. And that link is in the description. Also, if you have a question you'd like to have answered in an upcoming episode, I have a link to ask Roy your question. So with that, I'm Roy Furr. This is Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. Every day and every episode, I'm here trying to help you grow your career and your business as a copywriter, as a marketer, as an entrepreneur. And I will catch you again in tomorrow's episode. See you soon. Bye. Thank you once again for tuning in to this daily episode of Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. Remember, check out the links with this episode for even more value. Now make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, and engage in every way you can to keep this show going and growing and delivering daily value to you. I'll catch you soon for your next big breakthrough.